So I'm following the new template that Anna set up for us last quarter, which begins with our notable efforts for the first quarter. As has been the case the last few quarters, the converting HON customers has been our top priorities, if not our top priority. So this year we did a sort of continuation of the Black Friday / end of year HON promo we did last year, where new customers can buy $99 implants and get a free surgical kit and implant course. It has continued to do well. For the first quarter of 2023, we had 150 new HON customers, which is very sizable. I'm not actually sure what the first quarter number was for 2022, but it was definitely much smaller than that. Just for context, before we began the Black Friday promo in November of last year, we had 236 new customers at that point. So we're kind of nudging toward that number just in the first quarter, and that was after 3 quarters last year. So we're continuing to see that this strategy of having a very aggressive intro package is working. And so last year we had 429 after that's just total, including Black Friday. So I think the 150 number is really good because the first quarter it does not have as many events and certainly not as many courses as the other quarters, and that is where surgical kits are most commonly sold. So we're doing really good at converting customers through our advertising efforts and getting them to sign on to HON over the phone with the sales rep as opposed to interacting with them in person. Our number 2 notable effort is we actually probably spent more time on this than anything last quarter, and that would be digital treatment planning. That was to launch the new multi-level surgical guides, which we did that at the March Implant Symposium. So our efforts are to continue sort of building the customer base for digital treatment planning, and our traditional surgical guides, I'll call them, the tooth-supported, tissue-supported, and bone-supported are going to continue to be like the highest demand products because those are just much more common cases performed in the offices of general dentists. You guys have probably seen for this as well as HON and even the BruxZir implant prosthesis, our new strategy for getting customers is through a Jot form. And so far this year, we've received 58 Jot form leads for digital treatment planning, which has led to a nice amount of customer conversions, which we'll get to on a later slide. And just to launch these multi-level surgical guides, that we finalized nearly 15 different documents, including user guides, clinical support literature, stuffers, and ads and flyers. We are having some issues right now with the way the guides are designed, as well as some back and forth with RAQA. So we've kind of hit a speed bump there, but we're working toward resolving it. And a lot of the heavy lifting as far as having all the marketing collateral and clinical support documents we need to support a complicated project like multi-level surgical guides, we were able to wrap up in the first quarter.
Thank you very much, Keith, to you and your team for doing that. I really appreciate it. You guys, there was a lot of work. You guys did an amazing job. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you, Darius, for all your help and Elon's help in clinical affairs, especially Dr. Manalili was incredible with really getting the ball rolling on all the stuff we needed.
Yeah.
I forgot to remove my done tag here, but so I guess you guys can see I'm done with this slide. But anyways, our third and the third one I'm going to spotlight is our new BruxZir implant prosthesis campaign. When we were looking at our numbers for last year, it just was not good as far as how many customer conversions we could actually tie to our advertising campaign. And it's this one of the products that we consider a so-called buffalo. But it's hard to convert new customers for this. So we tried to try something similar with HON, where we do a very aggressive introductory package for customers. So you can see that in the middle slide, you can see we created a Jot form there. And we are now offering new customers 50% off their first case, along with a patient demo model and a free course. And we've gotten a ton of inquiries for these. So this is a definitely something people are interested in this intro package. We got almost 100 leads for our BIP department within a few days of launching the first email. And so far, this is a young campaign. We just started it in late February. And as a lot of you know, a lot of the dentists that are our standard audience are not doing these cases every day. So I think a lot of these leads will still turn into customers because they're simply waiting for a case to come into their office where they need this product. So far, we've had 6 come in as a result of this campaign, and it's worth noting in all of last year we only had 5 come in through marketing. So that's just in about 6 weeks. So we're on track to smash our number from last year. So I think it's the new concept. I think is getting traction, and it's going to help grow our customer base in a trackable way far more than what we were doing last year and in prior years.
So is that new BIP customers for Marketing 5, is that 2023 or 2022?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for catching that. Yeah, that's a typo. That should be 2022.
Okay, that's 2020.
Sorry about
okay.
that. Yeah. All of last year we had 5 new BIP customers come from marketing. This is just for this campaign. We've had 6, and that's in about 6 weeks for the new campaign. So my bad there.
No, your slide wasn't done after all, Keith. That's why you still have the.
Oh yeah, that's good point.
Yeah, can you remove that done?
Yeah. Pending markup from Darius, I'll put.
My work here is done. I'm gonna be logging off now.
Take a bow. So next I have a summary of how our campaigns are doing year to date. These slides are the most time consuming, at least for me, when putting together these presentation. Yet they're just like a bunch of boring numbers, sometimes disappointing numbers, sometimes good numbers. So we have for Han, we do still advertise our traditional Han intro package when we're not within a seasonal $99 campaign. That probably sounds confusing, but we didn't start our spring campaign until March because spring had not begun yet, obviously. And we're just doing those seasonally 4 times a year. So they have more of a limited time aspect to them. Nonetheless, we did get 8 customers with the old intro package. Those poor people did not get the aggressive package. And I say that that's weird or that they're unfortunate because we do offer the $99 intro package over the phone all year long. It's just something that we only market when we're in something like a spring promo or a July 4th promo or like Labor Day or Black Friday. So we got 8 new customers from that. When it comes to the actual $99 intro packages, for the promo codes that we're supposed to be using, we got 95 new customers. And those, there, as I had in the previous slide, there's 150 total new customers. So those are cases where just a correct code was not used. And something I skipped over here is we did have 35 Han customers convert to Han guided to the Han guided surgery system, which that's a good thing both for implant sales and especially for our DTP department, because a lot of those customers tend to come to our DTP department to get their surgical guides. And then for our biggest part of our business, the implant lab, we had a combination of RX books, emails. We had a total of 101 cross sells from there. 3 restarts. The number of 0 is not great, obviously. So we need to look into that because we now have a new general RX book. And I thought that we sent that out to tens of thousands of prospects. So I think there might be something wrong with the list or that we're doing there because we should be getting more new customers out of those mailers. I already touched on this, but for our new Proxer implant prosthesis campaign, we had a total of 6 new customers, including 4 cross-sells, 1 restart, 1 new. We did still have our old BIP campaign going at the beginning of the year, and we got 3 from that. So that brings us a total of 9 BIP conversions for the year, which again, last year our number was 5. So we're doing really good in that metric. Digital treatment planning. This is an area where I think we're doing really well. In years past, we could never actually attribute a single DTP case to our marketing efforts because the way the My Account portal is set up to submit a case, there's no way to really apply a promo code in a way that's, I think, easy enough to follow that a dentist will actually do it. So now that we're using JotForms here, we have the DTP team reach out to prospective customers, and that has shown to work well so far. We've had 14 new customers come to they're either new to the DTP department or they're trying a tissue or bone supported surgical guide for the first time. So we're seeing that. I personally just love JotForms. It seems like wherever we implement them, it seems to just boost the effectiveness of our marketing efforts. So that's something that I want to continue to do for other products, even if they may not be our biggest products in the world. And then here's some of our, at the top here, we have some of our prismatic products. Newport Surgical, we had 31 cross sells, 7 restarts, and 3 news. Interestingly, for Newport Surgical, that's the best numbers we got from any of our campaigns as far as restarts and new customers are concerned. And we only send out like an e-blast or 2 a quarter, but we also do a lot of the email promotions that go to people who take an online CE course or attend a webinar on the topic, which is where we see a lot of those come from. So that's been very nice for Newport Surgical in that they're like helping us expand our customer base, but they don't cost us, those efforts don't cost us a lot on the marketing front. Inclusive prosthetic components, we had 2 new customers, 11 cross sells. I'll be touching on this later, but this is an area where we were actually revenue-wise, we were down quite a bit in the first quarter. So that's going to be a focus in the second quarter, is to try to push the needle in the other direction. Inclusive minis, this is not an area where we spend a lot of money advertising, because we just don't consider it one of those products that's going to get our company to where we need to be. The numbers aren't, again, very impressive, but we did have 3 or 4 total new customers. 3 were cross-sells and 1 was new to the company. And that is actually not that bad compared to last year. We got a total of 8 new mini implant customers all year long. And so we got half that 1 quarter. So we're doing okay there. Implant overdentures, this is another area we don't advertise heavily in, but we did get 13 cross sells. We only got 6 total last year. So for the implant overdentures, we're seeing that our advertising is working, and we actually haven't been advertising this product that long. We just started in about the middle of last year, and most of these actually came from our new General RX book. So this is an area where we've seen the new General RX book make a big difference for. So then just to touch upon some of the other things we're up to in the first quarter, we're always trying to advertise Glidewell Implant Solutions. These aren't typically tied to sales, because this is just a sort of general awareness type of campaign where we remind people that we're a single solution for whatever they need in implant dentistry, from education to surgical solutions to our implant restorations. But this is just something we always make sure to regularly churn this out in all of our channels, just to keep that message in front of dentists. And so here is the new RX book I was talking about. We sent this out quarterly. Actually, yeah, how do I have 1 new account here? I need to look at that. But either way, we need far more new accounts from this than 1, because we send out some 55,000 of these. We had 41 new to implant product, 19 new to our implant solutions in general, and 4 restarts for that. Sales of about 200,000, though we care more about converting customers than we do about the revenue. And then we also had a new email campaign that emphasizes our flat rate lab fees and features Jim talking about why we manufacture our own implant components, which is largely in order to give people a predictable fee when they prescribe an implant restoration. And you can see here the sales are 66K. Our numbers are smaller than the General RX book, but this went out to only about a quarter of the audience. And obviously these are cheaper to do than mailing out a thick RX book. So I'm a fan of this email, and just emails in general just continue to seem like they are more effective for us than print pieces. And then live and online CE, we had a big role in marketing the Implant Symposium. We worked closely with Glidewell Clinical Education to try to fill as many seats as we could. We didn't get to 100% capacity, but I think we had a pretty good turnout. So we're doing okay there, and we're looking forward to promoting the October event for the Restorative Implant Symposium. And then we did do some post-event post-event e-blast directed at attendees of the symposium, which is something we'll continue to do in the future to make sure that when people leave the events that we host, that we are giving them a chance to give us our business, because most of our sales at events, as you all are aware, are focused on prismatic products. So when it comes to lab services, I think it's important to do post-event marketing. And we did have a new DTP table at the March symposium, and that's something we are going to continue to do at the future symposia events and add a few of the courses we do that focus on guided surgery. So moving forward to Q2, we're going to continue our rollout of the multi-level surgical guides. That's probably going to continue to take a lot of time, especially now that we're having some lengthy discussions, to put it kindly, with RAQA. And we're also continuing to work on the My Account DTP portal. The thing we launched in March was actually, we called it phase 1, and that was simply to make the multi-level surgical guides commercially available. We also want to launch custom healing abutments and screw retain provisionals for the, I think it's 18 inclusive systems. And I really look forward to getting those launched, because then we can market to people who use implant systems other than Han. We can market them like this nice digital treatment planning package that includes everything they need up to a provisional that they can deliver at the surgical appointment. And I think that will really help the needle, help move the needle in DTP, and which will also translate over to the implant lab. Speaking of the implant lab, that was another area, in addition to some of the prismatic products like inclusive prosthetic components, where we are not keeping up with forecasts. So we're having a renewed emphasis on marketing our implant lab in the second quarter. And our approach there is to continue to roll out our flat rate lab fee campaign, and then try to figure out what we can do with outsourced milling. That's an area that sort of disappeared from our marketing collateral over the last several years for reasons I won't dive into. But we are working on the QMS to offer outsourced milling in a much larger capacity, but that doesn't seem to be coming until later this year or even early next year. So in the meantime, outsourced milling is a area we're looking into, like what can we do to get dental labs to send us more of our cases. So that will be an area of focus for the next quarter. I already mentioned the inclusive prosthetic components. We're working on several new campaigns for that to get to boost our sales, because that's an area where we've been lagging so far for the year. And then, of course, for Han, one of the reasons we try to create Han customers is because they tend to spend about twice as much with our lab, and they use our DTP service more often, and they buy Newport Surgical more often. So we want to continue following through with new Han customers, make sure that they send their cases to our lab. And we also, there's a lot of curiosity, are the people who buy into Han with the more generous intro package, are they going to be as good of implant lab customers as the Han customers we used to convert under the old, less aggressive intro package? And that's something we should be able to start tracking during this quarter, because people have had the implant system long enough to move on to the restorative aspect of their cases. We're going to continue with our new BIP campaign and trying to convert all those new leads into customers. And on the educational front, there will be the October Implant Symposium, as well as the new AAID Maxi course that we will be hosting here on campus.
Hey, Keith, I have a really quick question.
Yeah.
Is there anything for the Q2, I know me, you, and Eldon had a quick meeting with Robert. Kind of talked about custom abutments specifically. That's where we were really short on the forecast. What we forecasted versus what we actually got in terms of units and sales as well. Is there anything in the pipeline for Q2 specifically for custom abutments at all, or is that would be like Q3?
Well, yeah. Well, we already had an e-blast scheduled to go out. I think it's either next week. I think it's next week. That was already on the calendar before the issue with the implant lab was brought up. So we're sending that out as planned. Maybe tweaking the list parameters so that it reaches more dentists than we had originally planned. And then where we're adding is this like kind of flat rate lab fee campaign. We had not initially planned to do that as often. We have actually just sent it out once. So we're going to increase just the number of implant lab e-blasts that we send out. We're already maxed out on the print front with our X books. So e-blasts are really where we're looking to increase the quantity of campaigns we do, and then also increase the audience that those e-blasts reach.
So are you talking about the labs, or are you talking about clinicians?
No, what I was just talking about was for dentist facing.
Got it.
So for labs, that's where we'd be looking at the outsource milling, right? So we're trying to find, what can we do in the interim while we wait for that QMS process to complete, and possibly setting up a new website for like a prismatic milling center or whatever we're going to call it. In the interim, it does seem like that's an area, right? I think labs used to send us a lot of custom abutment cases, but now it's kind of become a secret menu item because we don't have any dental lab facing aspect to our website or to our marketing efforts at all.
Yeah.
So
they used to, but it was nothing compared to what doctors are sending us, right? So, and also the price is different as well. So I think where we're struggling in terms of forecast is, the amount of units that we get from doctors, not the labs. I think what we forecast for outsource has been very slow, sort of, and then very low amount. But for doctors, where we forecasted, that was the biggest sort of difference from the custom abutments from clinicians.
Right, but I do think that with the overall shortfall we're seeing with the implant lab, just by putting some weight behind the outsource milling marketing that we do, which could go from 0 to something, would I think help make up for some of the lagging sales on the clinical side. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And then we are supposed to be adding new inclusive systems. This was actually these first 4 here on the right, BioHorizons, MIS, Dentium, and Straumann Bone Level SC. We were planned to get those out in the first quarter, but it still hasn't happened. So as these implant systems come out, I think that's going to really help the implant lab, and we're ready to do the advertising necessary to get to grow the customer awareness that, you can now come here for a flat rate fee, not just for the systems we currently offer, but for all these new systems. We're going to continue with our DTP product launches. I already touched on this, but I think having these custom single unit components available, it can really help us both with what the money we make from selling those immediate provisionals and custom healing abutments, but also just hopefully, bringing in more customers to DTP who are not HON users, because right now only HON customers have the benefit of being able to add something like that to their case. And as I was talking about, inclusive prosthetic components, these are some of the types of marketing we used to do, but we kind of stopped doing that toward the end of last year. We were a little concerned about it often involved discounting existing customers. So we're going to just get a lot more aggressive with advertising inclusive prosthetic components to try to make up for the shortfall. And in the process, we'll also be advertising some other PRK products like Ergodent, Capture, and Bruxer milling blanks. And again, this is another thing I touched on, but cross-selling new HON customers continues to be a big priority. When we create a new HON customer, the work isn't done. We need to follow through with them to make sure that they use us for the many other implant solutions we offer, especially digital treatment planning and especially the implant lab. So we regularly are just touching base with new HON customers and reminding them why they would want to use us for those services. And then on the educational front, we haven't even started. We're getting projects going now to start, filling up the seats ahead of time for the October restorative phase implant symposium. And we have this nice new, I don't know if we call it a partnership or collaboration with the AAID. This is going to be the first AAID Maxi course offered in California. I think it's the first in California. It's certainly the only one currently offered. And so there should be a pretty nice audience for this because we haven't, that geographical demand has not been met, but being able to host this course, we can meet that demand and get some very implant-minded dentists on our campus, which makes for a great selling opportunity, both while they're here and to just get our message, our Glidewell Implant Solutions message across to people who are really serious about implants, because this is a 9-module course. So anyone who attends this means business when it comes to implants. So that's the exact kind of customers we want to be engaging with. So this is a really nice opportunity. And then I'm almost out of time, maybe on purpose, because I don't like talking about KPIs. But oh yeah, this one's done too. For year-to-date revenue, I touched on this a little bit. We are down against forecasts by about 9%. Year over year, we're down 2.8%, which is why some of our efforts are devoted in the next quarter to make it trying to push things in the other direction for the areas that are contributing to that dip against both forecast and year over year. Active accounts, we do not have the data for this, so I can just skip that. Year to date, new accounts, we are down 10.9%. We had 472 new accounts come in through implants. That's about 15.8% of enterprise, which is just a tick higher than what we did last year. So that's kind of in keeping with how we performed in the past. Though against forecast, as noted, it's a little bit down. We're doing really well with restarts. We're up 15.6% versus our previous year to date. And we have about a quarter of it for the enterprise, where last year we had 17%. So for some reason, the restart category is an area where implants is doing really well. For cross sells, we're about flat with last year, though our percentage of the company is up from 20% last year. So I think we're doing pretty well with the cross sells, and our marketing efforts, I think as shown in the previous KPI slides, we have been generating a lot of cross sells in our marketing efforts, though we need to do better with getting new accounts, obviously. So we'll be looking into that. And that's all I have.